This video will show you how to install and ground Leviton e2XHD universal high-density angled and flat panels. This grounding method is appropriate for installations throughout the world except Europe. The panels come with a grounding plate that will be used for all cable types, including shielded and unshielded twisted pair copper and fiber optic installations. Also included are standard 1224 rack mount screws that will be used to attach the panel to the rack, and long 1224 and 1032 screws that will be used to create the grounding post for the panel. A selection of 1224 and 1032 hex nuts and lock washers is also provided. E2XHD angled and flat panels can accept cassettes loaded with unshielded Category 6A cable, shielded Category 6A cable, or fiber optic modules. The cassettes plug directly into the 8 ports on the panel. When shielded jacks are installed in the cassette, a bond is created between the metal front of the cassette and the jack body. When the cassette is inserted into the panel, the metal front makes contact with the bonding spring and forms a bonding connection between the metal front of the cassette, the bonding spring, and the patch panel. At both ends of the panel, you will find masked areas where the grounding plate will make bond with the metal of the panel. The long rack mount screw bonds with the grounding plate, creating a grounding point for the panel. Align the grounding plate with the rack mount holes on the panel before mounting it on the rack. Install 4 cage nuts in the appropriate positions on the rack or cabinet. Insert 3 mounting screws to secure the panel to the rack, then tighten with a screwdriver. The long 1224 or 1032 screw can be used as a grounding post. To illustrate, 2 cage nuts have been installed in the rack, a 1224 cage nut and an M6 cage nut. The 1224 screw inserts easily into the 1224 cage nut. The 1224 screw is also appropriate for use in a US threaded rack rail. The 1032 screw is used in all other applications, including M6 cage nuts, which are commonly used for server installations. Slide the 1032 screw through the M6 cage nut and secure it with a 1032 nut on the back. The 1032 screw can also be threaded through the M5 cage nut, which we will use in this demonstration. Insert the 1032 screw and start tightening it by hand. Then with a screwdriver, tighten so the grounding plate makes contact with both the panel and the rack. Tabs on the grounding plate will make contact with the threads of the 1032 screw. Place a 1032 nut on the 1032 screw and tighten it with a tool to secure it in place, creating the grounding post. To bond the panel to a rack bonding bus bar, an installer-provided grounding jumper with ring terminals on both ends is required. The minimum gauge is number 12. A number 6 gauge jumper is considered to be the best practice for this jumper. Place the ring terminal over the grounding post and add a lock washer. Secure the ring terminal and washer in place with a 1032 nut and route the grounding jumper to the rack bonding bus bar. The mounting process is the same for the flat panel. When routing cable up from a raised floor to an angled or flat panel, insert the cassettes into the bottom row first. When routing cable down from the ceiling, insert the cassettes into the top row first. In this demonstration, we will route cable from the floor into an angled panel, starting with the cables coming into the rack from the left side. Insert the cassettes into the bottom row, working from the center port to the right edge of the panel. Then install the cables coming from the right-hand side of the rack, working from the center port to the left edge of the panel. This will offer an optimal bend radius for the cables. Insert the cassettes into the top row of the angled panel, working from right to left. Dress the cables to the sides of the rack or cabinet. Now we will demonstrate how to load the flat panel with cable coming from a raised floor. Start by routing cables from the left side of the rack. Insert the cassettes into the bottom row, starting with the port at the left edge of the panel and working toward the center. Then route the cables from the right side of the rack, starting from the right and moving to the center. Load the top row in the same manner, this time starting at the right-hand side and working toward the center. Route the left-hand cables from the center to the left edge. Dress the cables routed from the left to the left side of the cabinet and the cables routed from the right to the right side of the cabinet. Once your angled or flat panel is fully loaded, extend your grounding jumper and attach it to the rack bonding bus bar. Flat and angled E2XHD panels can also be deployed on tapped rack rail. Follow the mounting process previously demonstrated. Place the grounding plate over the mast edge of the panel. Position the panel on the rack and secure it with 3 rack mount screws. Insert a long 1224 screw through the grounding plate. Place a 1224 hex nut on the long screw and tighten it snug against the rack rail to create the grounding post. Position the grounding jumper on the grounding post and secure it with a number 12 lock washer and a 1224 nut. The panel is ready for connection to the rack bonding bus bar. To remove a jack from a cassette, use the connector removal tool. The hook on the bottom of the tool is fitted under the bar on the back of the cassette. Then the arm on the top of the tool is used to release the latch on the jack. Position the hook on the bottom of the tool over the jack body and slide the upper arm over the latch. Rock the tool forward gently and lift the handle to loosen the jack and remove it from the cassette. To insert a jack into the cassette, simply slide it into the port under the cassette bar and push it forward to snap it securely into place. In addition to the connector removal tool, a wide range of accessories are available for angled and flat E2XHD panels, including patch cord manager trays and rear cable managers for enhanced cable organization. To learn more about the Leviton E2XHD system, visit leviton.com/E2XHD.